what would we have done different if we were doing it today? So you who are listening to this, you can save some time and headaches and maybe money on the way.
So we've built a multiple seven-figure coaching business over several years, and there are some stuff that we've done that have been super awesome and really great, and there have been a lot of different things that we wish that we did either sooner or differently completely.
Yeah.
And this episode is all about making sure to give that away to you. So if I could pay myself free from the headaches that I've had, then it would make a huge difference. It's what business is.
Yeah.
Many of the things that we're going to share today are things that logically or easily are something that we could have foreseen or heard from someone else. We still ended up doing a lot of the mistakes that we could have avoided if we just paid a little bit of attention.
Yeah. So one of the best sayings we learned from one of our first coaches was, when you win, you celebrate. When you lose, you ponder. And I think the biggest lessons in business are coming from those things that where we lost. Because honestly, the journey to seven figures and multiple seven figures, I think our best year so far has been 2.4 million euros in revenue and cash collected. There's a lot of ups, there's a lot of downs. And I think the first thing that I would have liked to be more aware of is, when is it normal in the business? And when can I expect in the business that I'll have some dips? I had an idea, like we went up and up and up from the beginning, and I had an idea that, it will just continue like that.
Yeah.
And which meant that once we didn't just go forward, we had started to have a year going down for a bit. I got a little bit into panic. Is this because we don't know how to run business? Is this because it's going to fail for us? And all of these panic stories.
Yeah. So we have very different catastrophic perspectives of stuff.
Yeah.
I can tell because I had none of those fears.
No, but I had, because I had an expectation on that. If I we did 150,000 the first year, 500,000, 2 million, 2.4. I had an idea. It can only go up, 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 up.
Yeah.
I prepare for just going up. I never prepared for when it was going down. So I was not aware when we needed to make some shifts. And I think we want to share today what was the reason for those shifts. I would have liked to understood how come and why, because now it makes sense. And also when we speak to other people, but I just had the wrong expectation from the beginning.
Expectations are dangerous, just as dangerous as having conditions to what needs to happen in order for me to continue.
Yeah.
I view it differently. One of the reasons to why I view it differently is because money hasn't been the driving factor for me. For me, it's more connected to contribution. And I've been questioning this for a long time, but I want to earn as much as I can. And the money that I earn is a receipt that I'm doing something valuable, which is awesome. That I love. And I understand business well enough to understand and see that I measure the health of my business in its revenue and profit. So the more money I make with a higher profit, the healthier the business is. Since we are going to talk about problems and mistakes, there is something in that is, to me, I would never do. The year we made 2.4 million euros, I would never repeat that again. Because I built a prison for myself that I felt I couldn't escape. We had a 76% profit margin before we paid us as owners with 2.4 million euros, which is amazing. Looking at the numbers, fantastic. Honestly, I had fun as well, but I didn't have options. I didn't have freedom of choice. I didn't have the opportunity to decide. We didn't work Fridays at that time, actually. So some freedom for sure. There were a lot of things that we did that opened up and made it possible. I don't regret that I've been through it, but I would never decide to do it that way again. And what was missing was both systems, but also simplicity to be able to do it in a bigger scale. I can make 2.4 million euros again, the exact same way.
Yeah.
But I can never get to 5 million doing the same thing because I do not have the capacity. It needs to be systematized.
Yeah.
And it needs to be simple enough so that it allows scaling. And it wasn't. It was us doing all the organic content, which means
we
all the
didn't run
marketing.
ads.
No ads. Zero.
No.
That's also a big reason to why we had a huge profit made from social media. We had all the relationships was hands-on. We did all the chats. We did all the conversations, all the relationship building parts. with some help of assistants and stuff. But we were doing all in marketing. We were doing everything in sales. We ran events back then, just as we also do now.
Yeah.
So every event, we created a sheet. And then all of the follow-ups done manually. Following a system, sure, but it wasn't simple. It was a lot of work. And then on the back end of that, we sold low-ticket courses and more premium high-ticket courses, and there were a lot of one-on-ones. Everything needed the owner's perspective. And I'm happy that you and I did it. Both of us did it because we could kind of do it together. But we couldn't outsource anything. So everything was just very, very, very heavy. I wouldn't want to do that again. Today we run ads like all companies, but it's so much easier to see that we can realistically create a plan that takes us to 5 million euros a year. Like we can see that it's possible with the way that we are working right now. And that wasn't possible back then.
Organic content worked really well for us. We didn't run ads. That's one of my regrets. We waited too long to learn and to start growing, because every time we needed to learn something new, it takes time. And I think we should have started earlier.
Earlier and softer.
Earlier and softer, 100%. Like more systems into our funnels. Everything worked, but it was manual and was handheld, but it freaking worked. It was hard, but for the first 3 years, for me, it was proving to myself that I can build a great business. It was about proving that I would be consistent. I'm disciplined, that I can build something I've never built before. And I did that. Now I don't need to prove it anymore. So what's the new game?
So when we started, we were really targeting beginners. And it was like, it still slips in because it's such a big part of our nervous system. Like helping coaches get their first 5 clients. I mean, we've done that with more than 6,000 coaches.
Yeah.
And then we did a transition. If we are looking at the impact that we want to make with our business, the bigger impact is going to happen faster and more efficient if we help people who are already established. And we had a level, we already had a program, we had a process, we had everything that they needed in order to be able to start that journey. Because one of the things that we should have done is that we should have added restrictions to who gets to buy our premium program way faster. We had 2 different programs, and we transitioned from our flagship program being the starter coaching business and then ascend into the next level. And then it shifted to like now our what's called Top 1% Coach Academy became more of our flagship. And when we did that transition, we held back our punches for a long time. We didn't speak directly and clearly enough to that this is the people that we help. So 2 things happened. It brought back into our marketing. It was very hard to market with efficiency and clarity. So people misunderstood the language that we used. Big mistake. It messed up our sales funnel. Those sales calls, those conversations had to be sorted out. We had no way of sorting them out. We changed CRM systems I don't know how many times, which created a lot of problems. We have a much better system to qualify who's a good fit and who's not a good fit. The problem was that they needed more than I wanted to give, honestly. What they needed was more accountability, more hand-holding, more one-on-one, more individual support, more clarification, more education, because they hadn't been in it long enough to realize and get the insights necessary in order to understand, how do I navigate a business? How do I take the steps?
We were feeling so damn responsible for our clients all the time. In the sense of we believed that we needed to be friends with everyone. I'm responsible for the quality of the training, the strategies, the accountability, and everything we set up, the systems, structures, everything. I'm responsible for that.
It's also absolutely necessary because it builds, like talking about your expectations before. What we need to be responsible for, though, is the expectations we built in our in our clients.
Yeah.
To a certain degree, it wasn't possible because it wasn't built for that.
No.
I'm really good at taking care of the internal processes and help people realize stuff about themselves. Love to help people in small doses and help people get fresh perspectives connected to their business. You need to focus on your business because otherwise it's going to fall apart on itself. And we started to see people coming in and being invited to come to my house and drink tea and coffee and talk and eat cinnamon buns and connect. And amazing. So we started to get people who didn't have results starting to give advice to people. And then we started to see people taking action and doing stuff that weren't meant for them to do at that level or at all. And then we started to see that is for us to go in and like steer up. So I told them, I love you guys. And here's the thing, here's the brutal honesty about this. We need to be careful with what we focus on. We focus on ourselves, we build results, and then we give it further, pass it along. Yeah. That you also see us the right way, because we are your business coaches. And without blaming anyone, we see a tendency more and more that we're starting to talk about stuff that isn't connected to your business. And I just want to say, I'm not qualified. This is not what I'm here to do. If I start a process, then I feel responsible also to see where did we land with the thing that we talked about. And then I'm really far out in the personal like life coaching.
Yeah, it's so far like from what we actually do. Yeah.
Yeah. And I believe that is such an easy thing to fall into.
Yeah.
Because we love the clients. The last thing that I really regret is that because we took the responsibility for our clients, we worked ourselves to death. But here's the thing. When we did it, we also built codependency. Yeah. Which meant that we didn't build an exit strategy for them. They couldn't leave the program because they really didn't harvest and learn everything they needed to learn in order to maintain what they've built. I can feel that is pretty sad at times, that, we did it for them. Did they make a lot of money while being with us? Yeah, absolutely. Today it's different, because today a client can graduate and they can keep building on what they've built. Yeah. We need to walk the path that builds the competency and the muscle that allows us to maintain this. It's been really, really important for us today to have simplicity and system and be very, very clear on what is it that we help people do and what
boundaries. We help coaches build scalable businesses, lifestyle businesses that give them more money, more time, and more passion in their life. Yeah. Who are we to teach people that when we work 8 hours a week? Yeah. It's been really healthy for us now that we changed that in the last 18 months. Yeah. We changed that completely. And it doesn't change the client results. We set boundaries.
And that I'm very proud of.
Yeah.
Because it creates a very, very different sensation in the group. One thing that I'm extra proud of, that we still keep that personal part of it, which means that it's okay to share
it's still high
challenges
touch.
And it's still okay to share, celebrate and stuff like that.
Since building a business is not a straight line, we can see what we see in the online space, but we don't see all the struggles and all the things going on behind. One of the biggest regrets I have about that is we kind of been hiring quick and firing slow. Yeah. I think the same pleaser thing. I really wish that my team, it would work. Yeah. And we often kept people in the team that was not a good fit and not competent enough for the role they had. And also because I can't deal with that right now.
I believe that everyone that listens to this podcast episode have heard that you should fire fast, because it's making your business bleed. Yeah. If they're not doing what they're assigned or what they're designed to the role that they're going to fill, then it's creating problems, more problems, and it grows. Yeah. We had a tendency at a point, we've hired a lot of our clients, which isn't necessarily a mistake. We gave them a role and we gave them an opportunity, and we hoped and believed that they would be able to incorporate themselves into that role and build something amazing for themselves, which was kind of impossible, because it was still our business and it was heading in our direction. It was a hard job for them, and we also hired people that we loved, that we really liked to begin with. I was designing our business goals to help them achieve their personal goals in a way that I realized today is that was kind of dysfunctional.
We spent so much time with team members, and it's kind of the same thing, because first we had this thing about being responsible for clients, and then we got responsible for our team members. It just changes how it looks, and pleasing team members. This is also where it happens, that we start moving our business to fit team members rather than getting the right team members that would fit into our business. Yeah. We did that. It was horrible. We've been in a lot of great masterminds. We've been hanging out with a lot of amazing people. There were some shiny objects that we jumped on way too early, because we were following along people who were too far ahead of us.
And we listened to people, and they were like, but that's easy. Just do this and just do it this way, and then think about it this way. And it's just that's what we do. It's going to be awesome.
There was a lot of shiny objects.
The only thing was that they made 10 times more money than we did. They had a completely different resources to be be able to like navigate and play around with. 100%, that was a big factor to where we started to kind of steer in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Because we got influenced by everything we could do.
Yeah.
It wasn't scalable. And then we saw a lot of different opportunities. So we started to do a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
It sounds stupid. We didn't.
No,
but
we tried
enough.
a lot and we didn't commit to one thing.
Exactly. And it built complexity.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, none of it worked. So we spent money over here. We spent money over here. And so money just flew everywhere. And we ended up with, okay, well, let's start over. That like all of those things didn't work. So simplicity is really one of the things that I want to give away. And one of the things that are like a core for all of our clients right now, especially when we're starting to make money, important before that as well, but when they're starting to make money and want to grow from 10K to 30K and 30K to 50K, you need to have one way of converting people, one way of introducing people to your stuff, because simplicity is key.
Yeah.
Like you really need to map it out.
Yeah.
And we should have started that 5 years earlier.
Yeah, absolutely. And we should have been better on data collecting than we were as well, which meant that we jump on a lot of things without reading the data because we weren't really asking enough for the data. We lost a little bit of track there. It was very important. I'm happy we did it because I think we learned so much from that. Because we're going to round up this episode. Next episode, we're going to share what exactly we're going to do in 2026.
No, I'm not going to share that. That's a secret.
Okay, I'm going to give away some of Lucas' secret. But if you like this episode,
remember to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.